Hello YouTube, it's Donardi here. This channel is normally speaking an Age of Empires channel, but I used to play a lot of Catan Cities and Knights, and I just played probably my craziest game ever. So I just feel like it has to go on YouTube. I feel like I have to share. Um, so in this video, I will be expecting you to already know the game a bit. So if you're like completely clueless, it will probably be hard to watch. Um, you can either watch it as entertainment, but also if you're already into the game and want to learn more, I think this game might help you become better. And I'll start with very brief history of me in the game. Like I said, I used to play this game a lot. In Season 2 there was no ranked yet for Cities and Knights, and then in Season 3 it came out and I won that season. Then I won Season 4, so the next one, 5 and 6. So I won the first 4 seasons of when the ranked seasons came out, and then I kind of just left. So Season 7, 8, 9, etc. I never played. And I think these take like 3 months each. So I've basically been gone for about 3 years because I played till Season 6 and then I missed 7 till 14, and now I'm back playing a bit again. Currently second, but this season just started. So I would say I'm pretty knowledgeable about the game. I wouldn't say I'm the absolute best in the world. I think there's a handful of players that I consider maybe better than me, but I do think I'm up there. So let's get into the game. I'm not going to focus too much on the placements. There's already so much information about it out there. But basically we're going to play a sheep heavy setup. I think Cities and Knights is really good to have a lot of one resource because you can port them away and buy yourself commodities and stuff like that. So we're playing without weeds, which is always a bit tough. But if we get like a mono or a merchant or a way to port, like I'm eyeing up that sheep port, that's part of the setup. We could get our wheat that way, or we're gonna try to get into aqueducts. So here at the start, we're not gonna focus too much on it, right? It's just a regular CK game. Everyone ends up getting their knights up. I managed to get on all the tracks, so that's nice. And yeah, like everybody kind of got there. I had to port 4 sheep, which was a viable option. Like I knew I could potentially trade with Red since he has no sheep and he has wheat, so we could have potentially had a 1-for-1 trade, but it didn't happen. We both just ported. So I'm just gonna let this game play because I think it gets more interesting later on. Most of these decisions at the start are usually fairly obvious. Here I didn't want to play my merchant, so I traded the brick and a sheep for a wheat, so that I didn't have to play my merchant to get my knight active. Much rather hold on to that dev and use it when I need it, or use it when it can give me more than just a single knight activation. So the barbs just wouldn't come in here, and so we have another person going on 2. Whenever there's a tie, you should always pick yellow, or at least 90% of the time. Sometimes you have to pick blue, and green is like the worst to pick almost always. So yeah, I'm just gonna let the game continue. I'm gonna use this merchant now because I have 5 sheep, and or 6 sheep even, so I can get 2 paper and get close to aqueducts, and I buy a wheat as well to activate my knight. And as for the commodity monopoly, I'm holding on to this for the 8 roll basically to get 2 paper at once. So now there's a 3 roll, so there orange is 1 paper, but that doesn't really do anything for me, right? Like I want to get an aqueduct in 1 turn, so I'm just holding on to it, and I'm gonna actually put it on 0.5. Oh, if it let me. I guess we missed a little bit, but that's fine. No, sorry. I don't do video editing, so it is what it is. I don't know why it went so fast. So yeah, we're back to the turn, I think, again. Yeah, this is where we port away our sheep for wheat and for 2 paper. So the inventor is rather obvious. You always want to double your numbers, and this is also, now black is no longer doubled as well, which is good. And it's just double 5. Like, also the wheat and brick is a good combination, so it was really a no-brainer inventor. But in a very general sense, use the inventor to double your numbers and prevent opponents from having double numbers if possible. So yeah, here something you might find interesting is I don't play my spy. There's 1 green and 1 yellow dev out. I'm a player that holds onto the devs like a lot, probably more than anyone. And I think it's very good. Especially in this case, nobody's on the blue track, so I can't be counter-spied. And one of the main reasons not to play it now is that whatever dev I'm gonna find, it's not gonna give me something major. Like something, it's no matter what, it's not gonna give me a massive turn. It's not gonna give me aqueduct, it's not gonna give me a city that I really want. Like I was really eyeing up a city spot here throughout the game. But even if it's like a mono and I take ore, I still don't have wheat to city and stuff like that. So also they already played their turn with those devs, so it's probably not a mono. Alright, so we have a 4-way tie, which is extremely rare. But yeah, I got a mono this time, so that's nice. I might be able to get an aqueduct soon. And I'm still waiting on that 8 to get it. Especially if it rolls on either my turn or black's turn. But here it rolls on orange's turn and he didn't have enough paper to spend it, so there's currently at least 2 paper out. Now we lose our double 5 setup, which was quite a bummer. So yeah, we mono ore and paper, and we poured away the ore to get it to coin level 3 and to get the aqueduct. So now we're playing with aqueduct, so that's gonna be a lot better for us. We will be able to produce wheat. Although we are on a lot of numbers now, especially since that inventor made it so we have 1 double we don't have a double anymore. So we're not going to be able to aqueduct as much as you could if you have a lot of doubles, which is why doubles are so great. I finally played my spy. I think I held onto it for about 4 turns and I found the medicine. Yeah, there was somebody with 2 devs, and at that point I did just play my spy. Also, they were on the blue track now, so I do have the risk of getting counter spied if I hold on to it. So there was a little bit more incentive to hold on to it, or to play it now, I mean. So we have the barbarians winning this time. And orange losing a city because of that, which is good. So we really just want to get that city. Like this would be an amazing city. We'll be able to produce a lot of cloth, and cloth matter is already gone, but we could use that to 2-to-1 our commodities with and stuff. But yeah, we're just not really getting any income. We're getting a lot of 5, so we're getting a lot of single bricks, which is not the card we're looking for at all. So the game is slowly kind of slipping away. We also really want to secure this settle spot before black somehow gets there, right? Like we don't want them to like road build or get there or something. So I just ported to the settlement. Just letting the game progress. I'm not gonna go too analytical yet. Probably made some plays that if you're familiar with CK are not your standard plays, by holding on to Spy and not playing my Alchemist and this sort of things. Holding on to the Monopoly till the 8, these sort of things. I don't know if you're already like playing like that or not, but I think it's good. But overall, not gonna go into depth too much. So now black all of a sudden is at 12. He has a merchant plate, he's got longest road. And yeah, I kind of just have to cut this, right? Like I don't want him to win, obviously. So it's a fairly obvious cut, and then we can combine that with a Warlord to activate them both. So now the longest road is gone. But in general, black is a player we can control because we could potentially steal his settlement spots, so we can put knights into his road if he plays for longest road. And I'm actually not super worried about him because he doesn't have aqueduct. And I can also bounce the Roadrunner a lot to make him lose a lot of cards. But the metros are kind of disappearing here. We have orange picking up the green, which is to be expected with his setup. Black somehow got the yellow super fast. Not sure how that happened exactly, but it did. Just gonna set up an extra knight, be able to bounce it, trying to get the VPs, and I played my Smith on these. Yeah, there were actually many 2s has been rolled in this game, which was extremely frustrating because the blue metro was the one that I was eyeing up. Or well, I mean at the start I was obviously wanting to go for the yellow, but since it disappeared so quickly I had to adjust towards the blue. But yeah, like the game has basically slipped away from us. We're trying to just extend the game and play with trying to get the dogs, so the VP points from the knights. So here again, now we have to cut him from both sides because we have to keep him in control. But then the road goes to red, so I think I played a diplomat on him so that he also doesn't have it, and then he can retake it by rebuilding a road. But yeah, he doesn't have a yellow dev, so no merchant, so he can't win by just building a road. But we're getting into a very clear danger zone here. Orange is on a lot of cards. He's gonna be close. But orange securing roads and being on 11 is nice because now black can just outright win real quick. He needs a lot more roads to take it back, or he needs to get rid of my knights. So as you can see here, the game is still plenty of time to go, where even though 3 players are very close to winning, which is why it was such a exciting game. So Orange is really securing the road now, and he's on 12 points. All he needs is a settlement, but he can't afford it. But he has a saddle spot completely locked down. So we're gonna really hammer down on this turn that I have coming up, because it's rather interesting and unique. So let's roll the dice first, and we'll pause it here, I guess. Did it give me my cards yet? I don't think it did. No, okay, there. So this is the turn. So I'm faced with an, annoying predicament where I can't have let Orange have longest road, because if he has a settle in hand, right? Like he's just gonna settle and win the game. So Orange can't have longest road. But if he doesn't have longest road, then who does? Because black and red are at 11. So I can't just give someone else longest road because they would win, right? So I basically have no real play for anyone to have longest road. So the only option that I saw is that I have to steal a metro so that other people can get longest road. I could potentially try to trade people or something to try and steal a metro. Like I could try to argue with the chat, but I usually try to avoid convincing other people. I like to just play my own game for the most part. Mostly play without trades. But the clear option is red has to get the longest road by losing blue metro. That was the only option I saw. So this turn I cannot do anything else but go for metro. I cannot go for a city or anything like that. There's just no time because the game would end. So I'm porting my entire hand into getting the blue metro. And I'm gonna use my road builder to cut Orange on the bottom side, and then use my deserter on his knight so that his road is at least cut by 1. And now, because I took away the blue metro from red, this opens up him being able to get longest road without winning the game. So he can cut the road here, which will really shorten Orange's road. He's only on 4 on either side, with no real way to extend without getting rid of the knights. So red only being on 5 is actually enough, because Orange cannot get to 5. Like he could go, well, he can get to 5, he can make 1 here and 2 here, for example. Or actually he could go to 6 if he makes 2 here, 2 here. But then he probably doesn't have the cards to still make a settlement as well, because it's just way too many road resources. And then you kind of just angrily skipped his turn, realizing that he couldn't win anymore. Because the problem is for him that if he makes like a settle and a city, he's at 12, but he's out of cities and out of settle spots. So 12 is his cap without longest road, or a merchant, or a VP from the knights or something like that. But the knights are basically locked down by me. So we're gonna do a little bouncing around. And then here, even though Orange looks scary at 16 cards, he actually isn't, because he doesn't actually have a way to win. Used my deserter to get this red knight, put it there, bounce it here. Here, I'll show it, I guess. So here I was using my deserter on that knight, put it at the 6, 9, 12, bounce it to the 6 again get this one more extra card. And then put it on the 10 because red has a double 10, and I can block everyone a bit there. Aside from black, well, black as well, because black doesn't have aqueduct. I have to lock down this settlement spot here because I don't want black to be able to extend too much. Like he only has 2 extension spots now. If I'm letting him be like going here, that will be trouble. So I really need to lock down this position. And I actually made a mistake. So this is, I didn't show it, but this is my hand. So after, let's focus on my turn, I guess. I think the settlement spot is just a must because I need to lock that position down and I need to take the settlement spot. And then with the remaining cards, I could potentially get a city, but I don't have any knights active, and the barbs could potentially come in. It's 6.25%, like 1 in what is it, like 1 in 2, 4, 8, 16, 1 in 16. So I could potentially burn. It's a low risk play. I really need the second metro in this game to actually win the game, so I figured I'm gonna port to Clot and upgrade my Clot to set up a potential win condition in the future. And then the mistake I made is there's this annoying thing that you can't upgrade it to level 4 because the game says that you need to have a city present to be able to go to level 5, or like the second to last level, level 4. Which I find it to be a strange rule because I'm not overtaking his metro at this point. So I feel like I should be able to up to level 4 without the need of a city. It's something I personally don't understand. I don't feel like you only should have this rule where you're overtaking the metro, which in this case I'm not. But the game just doesn't let you. So I forgot about that for a sec. So I'm left with 4 Clot in my hand. I'm like, damn. That was a mistake. Like I do, and I will need that Clot metro, so having the Clot is okay, but it's still frustrating. So I'm just gonna pick weed to either activate my knights or get a city. Interesting thing about leaving my knights inactive here is I have a metro on my city, so I can't burn. Black also has a metro, so black also can't burn. So red and orange, they need to have nine knights to survive, basically. Like they're the only 2 players at the risk of burning. So when I leave my knights inactive, it's a burden to them. But I would also just like to get the 3 points right. But red ends up having a warlord, so he's now safe. So now it's only orange that can burn. So here it was funny, red wrote GG because, you know, orange is on 22 cards. And it looks super scary, but there is no path to victory. Longest road is untakeable with the knights inside. His maximum road potential is still 6, but making 2 here and 2 here for 6. Actually, I don't know if he still has 4 roads available to him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, he only has 3 roads available, so his max is 5. So earlier on as well, I think that was already the case. So yeah, he just cannot win. He can make a settlement, he can make a city, and that's his turn basically. He used the medicine, he still has 15 cards left, but there's no potential to win. So he only really can play into knights, but he's just so far away from ever getting the VP. And if he would go for it, I would just activate mine and overtake him. So here are city, so I will need knights. And I port. And here I made probably another mistake. I played my commercial harbor to get a second knight. So let's go a little bit to this turn, through this turn. So in my mind, I was thinking, if I get 2 active knights, I'm going to be able to beat the barbarians and get the VP. So first of all, I make a city. So I port. No, I don't have to port. I just make a city. Now I'm obviously going to up my cloth, because that was my game plan, is to go for the cloth metro. And now I'm left with this situation where what I should do is I should port two sheep to a wheat, activate this knight or whatever. And that's it, because I will be at 3. Orange is at 1, so orange is going to burn. And that's it. And I don't have a second level 3 knight, so I can't go to 11. But the reason I made this mistake is that it used to be 10, and I didn't consider the fact that I'm making a city, so it's going to change to 11. So in my mind, what I can do here is port to a wheat, which I did. And then if I get my sheep to turn into a paper or a cloth, which I knew I could do with orange because I knew he had no coin, then I can port that to wheat and I can activate a second knight to get the VP, was my thinking at this time. But yeah, so I made a mistake. I miscounted basically by not including my own city. And I activate both knights and we get to 10 out of 11. I'm like, damn, that was dumb. So this was a clear mistake. But it is what it is. We all make mistakes sometimes. So the game continues. Red ends up activating knights, or at least he could. He's bouncing around for now. So he plays his diplomat and he gets rid of this road. And he leaves it at 10 out of 11. So orange is losing a city. So here something very funny happens is orange rolls an 8. And that means he gets like obviously 2 3s and 1 paper. And he has a spy. And he uses it on me because the most important dev in this game for the past whatever this was, 20 minutes of gameplay, is the intrigue, which is like 99% of the time is the worst dev in the game. But in a situation like this, it's exactly the dev that they need, right? Because if he gets rid of this knight, then all of a sudden he has a long road again. And same story for black. If he gets rid of either of these, he will have a long road again. So that is like their win potential, is rolling an intrigue. And I had one the entire time, and I couldn't get rid of it. So I would have liked to get rid of it to prevent it ever being spied. Like, and remove it from the game. Well, I mean, as long as I have it, I know it's less likely for them to roll it, but they could roll spy and steal it from me. And this is what happens. He rolls a spy and he steals it from me. He doesn't even bother taking my spy, which is what you normally would do, and then you would take the intrigue, because he just thinks he wins the game. And funnily enough, he removes his knight and he actually goes to 7. And the reason for that is that red played the diplomat on his previous turn, removing this road, which put orange at 7 currently, because this would have been 8 without the diplomat. So it was just a very funny combination of circumstances where if that diplomat didn't happen, the game would now be over, right? Because the longest road cannot ever leave red, because red was the chosen one to hold onto the road, because I was able to steal his blue metro. So that was rather hilarious to me. So black is someone I'm not too worried about. He doesn't have aqueducts and he doesn't have potential for a double pointer. So here we have a very interesting turn as well. I roll a yellow devs for everyone. So everyone gets a yellow dev except for red, because he is not on the yellow track the entire game, which was a big mistake on his part. And I'm faced with a rather interesting choice, is who are you gonna spy? So this is black his devs. He has 2 green, 1 yellow that just came in, 1 blue. We have orange with 1 yellow and blue, red with 2 blues. So, and I was really in a pickle here, and I took quite some time to think about it. I think picking black is completely out of the question because black is not too relevant. So black was for me an obvious no-go because it just he's not gonna win this game most likely. It's between red and orange. If the problem is that if orange found a merchant, he can win now because he's always been hard capped at 12 points. He's currently on 11 because he lost the city from the barbarians, but he could remake it, and then with the merchant he would win. So I was really thinking orange. But then another problem is that red could have a spy, and if red has a spy, he could take my merchant and win the game. He has a settlement spot open, he has the cards to make it. So I really found this decision very hard. Also, red, one of his blue devs just came in, like it's a fresh one, so it could be anything. If it is a wedding, I could potentially win the game here, because I could get myself to, depending on the cards that I receive, I could potentially get the Club Metro on this turn. I have a merchant, I have a sheep port, I have a 3-2-1 port. So porting all my cards away, like currently I'm at 3 cloth basically, but by this turning into a cloth and then potentially using the merchant on the brick for another cloth. So if he has a wedding, I will get 6 cards, and that could potentially win me the game. If he has a spy, I can take it and potentially deny his win, and then I can look at orange's dev with that. Another good dev would be a saboteur, where I get to get rid of some of their cards to prevent their win once again. And then I got a different card which was also pretty good for my next turn, for the good potential as a bishop, because a bishop is basically worth about 8 cards at this point, because I'm going to be able to put it on the 11, which is 2, and then I have 5 active knights, so I get to bounce around it 5 times, so it's 7 cards actually. So this is worth 7 cards, which is a lot. So red rolls a 7, which I was extremely happy to see, because that makes it less likely for orange to win if he has a merchant, because he also still needs to be able to afford a city. And here orange doesn't get any real cards except for an aqueduct because of the 2 again. And he's still working on trying to get knights, trying to protect this from being cut again. And because red improved his road to 8, that made it so if he made this road, he would still be at 8. So there was no potential win there. So it's unreally, and he didn't have a merchant. So now during black's turn, I'm pretty sure he probably can't win. He could only win with a settlement and a city, which I would be surprised if he could afford, but it could potentially happen. So I was mostly looking at his turn like, please just do not port to cloth and defend your cloth metro. And then I saw him make this road, and I was like, okay, he's doing some other stuff. This is great. We're gonna win, because we mostly have the win locked up. I mean, especially with a 4 roll, it's super easy. But even if the 4 doesn't roll, I basically just have it in hand with the bishop. Like, you will see my cards improving super fast. I didn't have to do all this bouncing around. I already have the win in hand, but I guess for the sake of it, I did. So yeah, this was probably my craziest win. I think the game looked extremely doomed earlier on. And yeah, like we could win with either a settlement, city, or merchant, whatever. So to go back a little bit, like if you look at this game state that we had, I think it was here, or is it's 1 turn further even. Like if you just look at this, it just looks completely unsolvable. Like it's like an unsolvable puzzle from the looks of it, because nobody can hold road. Orange can't hold road, he's gonna settle and win. Red and black can't hold road, there would be a 13. It's just unsolvable. That's what it felt like. And most people would probably just give it up in this game state, because what is really your chance of winning here anymore? But I just kind of kept fighting. I kind of kept just preventing their wins. I was just extending the game for as much as I could, because I need a lot of time to win still. I'm still quite far off. And that's this extra time. This normally wouldn't be there. Like normally the game would end here, right? Like it's already been close for super long. Like I've already had to cut black twice and prevent his win 2 times, and all this stuff was already going on. But yeah, in particular this turn here at the end, or I mean not at the end, but this turn. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's extremely rare to be able to win a game from this position. So I really wanted to share this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you learned a thing or two if you're already competing in Catan and you're looking to improve. And I think it will be a one and done for me making Catan video. So here on out, if I'll be uploading again, it will just be Age of Empires stuff. But thanks a lot for watching, and enjoy the game.